Today we are going to build the rough openings for the doors and windows in our house on SketchUp. We're going to follow along with the video.
Hey guys, this is Aaron. We are on week 4 of our architectural walkthrough. So we're building an architectural model inside of SketchUp. The next step, so we put in our exterior walls, interior walls on our first floor. We got a reference image. Next thing to look at is doors and windows, which I'm going to lump together and use the term openings. So forgive me if you use openings for some other term. In this case, I'm just going to refer to doors and windows as openings in the wall. So I'm kind of breaking this into 2 different pieces. First is going to be the rough opening. That's the hole we're going to actually punch through the wall. Second is going to be actually putting door and window components into those holes. I know there are extensions out there that will kind of automate this process and pull it all together. And that's great. They're awesome extensions. I highly recommend you use them, especially if you're doing a lot of this. But what we're going to do is, again, in the interest of building your skills, is to walk through this process with just SketchUp tools. So again, feel free to call out those extensions in the comments, that sort of thing. But in this walkthrough, we're going to just stick to the basic SketchUp tools. So with that, we'll go ahead and hop on in. All right, so first thing I want to look at here is I have my reference image. My reference image has door and window callouts, but I can't see them. So one thing I might want to do is turn on X-ray.
Now in the Google SketchUp free mode, it's a little bit different than his professional version. Our X-ray is over here on the right of the screen. You have to go to Styles, and under Styles you have to drop down Default Styles, and our X-ray mode is this one right here, where you can see it's kind of clear and it says X-ray if you hover over it. It takes a second for your model to update.
X-ray is going to give us the location of those openings. I do, again, because I'm not going to snap to these because they're kind of...
If you notice, his dimensions are 4 feet, 7 feet, 9, 8, 6, 3, because his walls are a different thickness than what we made. On our model, it's 4 feet, 7 feet, 1 inch, 9, 8, and 6, 3. So 6, 3, 9, 8, 4 feet. There's no way to not have either this one be wrong or that one be wrong. So we're going to make this one 7 feet, 1 inch. So don't worry about that.
Messy lines. So I am, as I go in here and do this input, I am going to use the dimensions that are called out here. Another thing that's not on here, you'll notice, again, just for the cleanliness of the output, I didn't want a whole bunch of extra information on here. I don't have callouts for the door or window sizes. That's fine. I'm going to be making this up kind of, or supplying this information as we go. It's not a complete drawing. Again, it is simplified for the training process. So let's just hop in here and look. So right here, I have a window. It's about a 3-foot window, and I'm fairly certain that it's a 4-foot tall window. So this is a 3040, something like that is called out. Now again, there's a relationship between actual component size, your door or window finish size, and the rough opening that's required. I'm not going to get into all that stuff. I'm going to say that for this example, for this window, I want a 3-foot wide, 4-foot tall window. I want a 3x4 hole cut in this wall, and I want the top of it to be at 7 feet. So who cares how you come by the numbers? We're going to look at the process of actually putting that window in. All right, so we're going to walk through this a couple different ways. We're going to start with the basics, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double click into the exterior wall.
Now this is a very important step, and you got to make sure you do it correct. I'm going to click off everything and then double click on my wall. If you notice, what happened here is the first click, it's blue. The second click, it gets this dotted line. That means I'm inside my group. Remember we made groups before? And then there could be a problem that you run into, that I ran into, that I will show you how to fix. We're actually going to break this video into 3 different parts. That way if you have problems, you have enough time to work through your problem, ask me questions before we do the part 2 and the part 3. One thing he does real fast after he double clicks is he grabs his line tool. He uses the keyboard shortcuts to activate his tools, and his tools, if you look, are actually along the top because he has the Pro version, SketchUp Pro. We have the free version, so our tools are over here on the side, and that's the line tool that he's going to turn on real quick.
Space. So I'm actually going to go into that group by double clicking. I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to just draw over 4 feet. Type 4 foot, enter. And
so he drew a line 4 feet over. So click on the line tool, click on the corner, come over 4 foot symbol, enter. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but you do have a line here that is over, the length of that line is 4 feet.
And that puts me right here at the middle. I'm going to come here, I'm going to draw a line up 7 feet.
Now one thing that he didn't mention, but you could see in his videos, he clicked here, went straight up on the blue axis. Remember, blue means we're going straight up and down. Here's the blue axis here. It's going straight up and down is blue. And he's going to go 7 foot, enter.
And then there's a couple ways I can go from here. So again, this is a 3 foot by 4 foot window. So what I could do is I could draw a line to the right, 1.5 feet.
Again, notice that he was on the red axis, which is straight. So he's in the middle of the window. His window width is 3 feet total. But since he's already in the middle, he needs to go over half of 3 feet, which is where he's getting the 1.6 foot symbol, and enter on the red axis. Make sure you're on the red axis, hit enter. Then he wants a 4 foot tall window, so he's going to come down on the blue axis, 4 foot, and enter. And then he's going to come over and just click on the line to finish it.
Draw that down 4 feet and draw it back, and then I could select this.
Now he goes through this part really fast. He selects it with the selection tool. Again, he's using his keyboard shortcuts. So to select this, I can go in my selection tool. You can also hit the space bar. Space bar is a keyboard shortcut to select the selection tool. And then he clicks on this surface. So see how it's dotted? That's how you know it's selected. It's dashed or dotted. Okay, then he's going to go to his move tool.
Surface.
See, now he's on his move tool. Of course, the keyboard shortcut for the move tool, it's right here, is M for move. He's going to click on this corner. When he drags it over, right now you're moving the original. But on your keyboard, if you tap the control key, so hit the control key, it makes a copy that we can snap right to that endpoint. Snap it right there.
Move, option, copied over there. I can get rid of my...
He says option because he's on a Mac. On us, it's the control key. We don't have an option key on Windows. All right, he switches to the eraser key. That's the E key for eraser. It's right there. Click on it. Drag over that line to delete that line. Click and drag over this line here to delete that line. And you should have this rectangle left.
2 redundant lines, and I could push pull that in.
Okay, and then he goes to the push pull tool, keyboard shortcut P for push, pull. It's right there. Click on it. Click on this surface. Now if you drag it to the right of your screen, you can actually snap it to kind of like the back. If you go to the left, it comes out. If you go, see how it's coming out to the left, but to the right, you want to snap it on that face, and it will cut a hole into it. Now, if yours does not cut into a hole, and I had this problem, and it took me a while to figure out what was the mistake. If your hole did not cut out, and let me turn off my, I'm going to go to my styles and turn off my X-ray mode. I'm going to go back to the default styles. Give it a second to update. It should cut a hole into it, and that's really important. If yours didn't, and let me show you here, I'm going to save this. Matter of fact, I saved this as 04 rough openings. That's what you should save it as. Folder, save as 04 rough openings. I'm going to show you a different version here. The problem that I was having is I had a group inside of a group inside of a group. So If you have a window like this and you try to push-pull it, click on your surface and you drag it back and nothing's really happening, you can't see through it, then you did the same thing I did. You made too many groups, and I'll show you how to fix that. If yours worked, you can just kind of skip to the end of the video or skip till after this part. So what you need to do, I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to select it so everything's blue. So all my exterior walls are blue. I'm going to right click on the walls and go to explode. Exploding kind of undoes your grouping. You can see right here I could edit the group, but I want to explode it. Now when I explode it, I'm going to click off of it to deselect. And when I click on my walls again, it's still blue. That's because I had multiple groups. So this is a second group that I also need to explode. So with this blue walls the whole way around, right click again and explode again. It looks like nothing happened, but it did. If I click off of it and click on it again, I have a third one. I made multiple groups kind of nested in another group that was nested into a third group that was, yeah, it was kind of crazy. It took me forever to figure it out. Right click again for me and explode it. Now, once I do that, see how now my walls are selected? That means I have no more groups. But you do want to have at least one group. So I need to undo that last exploding that I did. Okay, I exploded it too many times, but you won't know that until your walls look like this. So all I got to do, instead of regrouping it, I can just undo the last thing. So down the bottom left corner, the left arrow is the undo arrow. Click on that, and what it did is it undid my exploding, which means that it's still grouped. Okay, now what I can do, and I don't know, you might have to redraw the window. Let's try it. I'm going to click on this window. Whoop, hit escape. Grab my selection tool. I got to go back into my group mode. So click once to select it, double click to activate the mode. And I'm going to probably have to redraw this window because this window was drawn on one of the wrong things. Let's try to see if I can select that window. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to go in here, delete out the window, double click to go back into your group mode and redo your window. So you got to redo the line, 4 feet over, 4 and enter, 4 foot, enter. Go to that endpoint, go up 7 foot, enter. Come back over 1.5 foot, enter. Go down on the blue, 4 foot, enter. Click back over, grab my space bar for my selection tool. Click on my selection. Hit the M key for the move tool or click on the move tool. Click on the corner here, drag it over, but you have to hit Control to make a copy. Snap that right there, click. Grab my eraser tool, E key, eraser tool right there. Click and drag over the center of the line. Click and drag over the bottom line. Hit the P key for your push and pull. Click on this surface and drag it back. It should disappear. If that's not working and you're still having trouble, you could rewind the video and rewatch it, or you could just Canvas inbox me if you have any questions is the best way. But that's going to be it for part 1. Let's watch the rest of the video. That way if you have trouble, you have time to kind of figure this out and work on this.
That's an option. That is a way. I do have a hole in the wall now. That does work. So the nice thing is, so one of the things I can do right now is...
Yeah, we're not going to do that yet. That's going to be part 2. So that's it. Get it so you can zoom in on this window so your screen looks kind of like mine. Okay, try to rotate it so I can see inside. Make sure, let me close some things here. On your styles, go back to the default style if you haven't already. And let's save it. Save it. Go to your folder and export PNG. Okay, make sure it looks sort of like this so you can see it. Click on the export as PNG and don't show this again, or hit continue. Make sure you know where you save it to. I've been saving stuff on my desktop into a SketchUp architect folder, and I like to number them. So I'm on, this is video 4 part 1, and then we can go into Canvas, SketchUp openings, and submit your assignment there. All right, we'll do video 4 part 2 on Monday.